Kwenye mchipuko wa K24 kikao cha siku kikiwa joto la uongozi. Ila kwa sasa wacha tusikie tu rai za baadhi tu ya wadau mbalimbali katika kaunti ya Nandi kwa tume ya kuajiri walimu hapa nchini maarufu kama TSC, ambapo TSC sasa imeombwa kutoa nafasi na kusikiza maombi ya baadhi ya walimu hapa nchini wanaoomba kuhamishwa kutoka kaunti ambazo wapo mbali na familia zao na sasa kutaka kurejeshwa kule familia zao zilipo. Wametaja kuwa hatua ya sasa baadhi yao wapo katika kaunti ambapo wanakumbana tu na mahangaiko ya kutokuwa karibu na familia zao, jambo linaloibua misukosuko kila kukicha. Kwa hivi punde ni mbunge wa Tinderet ambaye pia ni mwenyekiti wa kamati ya elimu bungeni ambaye ni Julius Meli, ambaye kwa upande wake amesema walimu wengi wametaabika kutokana na kuhamishwa mbali na nyumbani kwao, jambo linalowapa wengi unyanyapaa na hata familia zao kukumbwa na changamoto. Na pia vile ametaka tume hiyo ya TSC kutoa utaratibu wa namna ambavyo walimu wa sekondari za walimu maarufu kama JSS basi wataajiriwa katika makataa ya kudumu, kama ilivyokaririwa kuwa serikali ilishaweza kutenga kima cha takriban shilingi bilioni 18.7. Tusikize kauli.
Kizana kama kamati ya elimu na serikali ya kwamba hakuna nafasi ya kukaa katika kaunti ulio mbali na kwenu. Delocalization ilikuwa abolished na sasa imekuwa vizuri. Teacher Service Commission watoe hiyo notice ya kwamba walimu wachache ambao walikuwa bado wako nje za kaunti zao wapatiwe nafasi warudi nyumbani kuanzia baada ya mitihani hii ya KCSE na KPSEA. Wote warudi katika mashule zao ili waweze kufunza wanafunzi ili kumaliza shida na stress na depression, kwa sababu delocalization will make families were separate. Unapata bibi yako kule Trans Nzoia, mwanamume yako huku Nandi au bwana yako huku Nandi, na hiyo sio nzuri hata kidogo. Mimi nafikiri tumesema maneno mengi juu ya walimu wa JSS. Wacha niseme ya kwamba Teacher Service Commission sasa inabidi ianze itoe program namna ya kuajiri na kumaliza mambo ya JSS kwa muda mfupi ijayo. Kabla ya mwezi huu wa 9 ifike au mwezi wa 10, watoe daftari ya kueleza wataajiri namna gani, makaratasi wanafunzi watoe na kila kitu, ianze the program so that it roll out. Sio vizuri tena tuongee juu ya JSS. Hata mimi kama kiongozi au kiongozi yote, tunataka tuone program ya permanent and pensionable iwe imeanza sasa. Sio vizuri tena tuongee juu hayo mambo. Nataka tuone walimu wameambiwa namna gani, wameanza kusubmit papers.
Tukiondokea hayo, kwa sasa kinachochipuka ni kuhusiana tu na Wizara ya Kawi pamoja na kampuni ya uzalishaji umeme hapa nchini maarufu kama Ketrako. Hivi sasa wanakutana tu na baadhi ya wadau mbalimbali katika Wizara ya Kawi na pia vile kutoka kwa umma, ikiwa ni jitihada za kukusanya maoni kuhusu uzalishaji wa umeme hapa nchini. Basi baadhi tu ya kampuni zilizofika na kuwasilisha mapendekezo yao kuhusiana na shughuli nzima uzalishaji wa umeme hapa nchini ni pamoja na kampuni ya Adani, kampuni ya Africa 50 na EDF ya Ufaransa. Wacha tupate kusikia kauli zinazoendelea kuibuliwa katika kikao hicho cha siku.
I need to be very clear here. The challenges we face today require us to think way beyond traditional financing approaches. The total investment requirement for the 20-year transmission master plan is now estimated at US $5.3 billion. And so far, we have secured or committed around US $305 million through the DFIs and EPC. EPC here refers to engineering, procurement, and construction model. Financing frameworks. This leaves us with a financing gap of about $5 billion. And this is not just about the money, I must stress. It is the time and complexity involved in securing the traditional loans, which often have long lead times from conception, appraisal, and signing. As a country, we simply do not have the luxury of time, I must stress. And why is that? Why is it that we don't have the luxury of time? Kenyans may be wondering. Yet we have been here all this time, really. Well, in our transmission system, okay, our transmission system, while it is robust in many ways, it still faces some serious challenges. One is the inadequate transmission capacity to meet demand in key regions like Western Kenya, the coast, and Northern Kenya. Two, insufficient evacuation capacity for renewable energy sources, particularly in Northern Kenya and geothermal complexes like Olkaria and Menengai. Three, system reliability issues, especially in interregional connections between Mount Kenya, Coast, West Kenya, Nairobi, and Central Rift. Four, increased technical losses due to overloading of existing lines and the widespread use of long 33 kV lines. It's not tenable. The engineers here will tell you, okay, when you transport electricity, for lack of better terminology, long distances using these low voltage lines, you lose a lot. You incur exorbitant losses, and that is not tenable. Losses which eventually are borne by the public, consumers. Five, limited transmission coverage in remote areas that still rely on isolated DSL plants and off-grid solar systems. The other day, you saw us, I think 2 weeks ago, launching a mini-grid in an island on Lake Victoria, that is Mageta, which for the first time are able to access electricity since the earth was created. Okay? It's a very serious matter. And we have got so many of such places in the country, not just in islands in the lakes, but even mainlands, especially northeastern part of the country. So if we do not address these issues as a country, we risk not only higher costs, but also inefficiencies that will hamper our ability to meet future energy demands. That is why improving our transmission system is not just necessary, it is critical to ensuring that our grid can reliably and efficiently meet Kenya's energy needs over the next 2 decades. Let me put this into context for you. On one hand, we are developing new generation capacity to meet rising demand. This includes power from renewables like wind, solar, and geothermal. But without adequate transmission, this new power cannot get to the people and industries that need it. In simple terms, generation without transmission is like having water but no pipes deliver it. And in our case, the pipes need serious upgrading and expansion. Now, this brings me to the heart of today's discussion: public-private partnerships. I know there are a number of questions that we all want answered. And when I talk about we, I'm referring to the public in totality. One is, why PPP? Two, why Africa 50 and Power Grid India? Why Adani? Okay? And so on and so forth. Three, why not an open tender? Four, and what due diligence is done? What kind of due diligence is being done? Now, Section 40 of the Act, this is the law that we made in 2021, and I was privileged to have participated in the enactment of this statute law in the National Assembly. Section 40 of that Act provides for what is referred as privately initiated proposals, while Section 42 of the same Act provides for steps on evaluation of submitted PIPs. At the same time, Section 43 provides for the preparation of the project development report, and so on and so forth. If you get time, please have a look at this piece of legislation in detail. It will give a very clear roadmap on how PPPs are supposed to be managed and executed. So we are not doing anything outside the law. And it is our commitment as a ministry to continue to operate within the confines of the law. That's the commitment I have to give the public. Now, for records, we currently have engagements with different players, like what I've referred to, the joint venture proposal between Africa 50 and Power Grid India. My colleagues here will go into details later, if time allows. Now, these two entities have placed a joint proposal. But on their own, let me just take you through what these entities at a glance look like. On their own, Africa 50 have an IPP in Nigeria, Egypt, Senegal, all in the power sector. They also have ongoing transmission PPPs in Gabon, Zambia, and Mozambique. They also have a PPP bridge project in the DRC. Several PPP projects for joint border posts in West Africa, and ongoing IPPs under development in Mozambique and Angola, just to mention but a few. Their partner, Power Grid of India, have in their development portfolio over 175,000 circuit kilometers of power transmission lines in India. And they have undertaken PPP projects as a developer in Bangladesh and Nepal. They have also done many project management consultancy roles for transmission projects in Kenya, Uganda, Ethiopia, South Africa, Mozambique, and elsewhere. With regard to Adani Energy Solution Limited, because Adani has become, what can I call it? Has become famous in the recent past. But I'm now talking about Adani Energy Solution Limited today, because that is what is most relevant for our purpose. So, Adani Energy Solution Limited have cumulative transmission network of about 21,000 circuit kilometers of power transmission lines and some 61,000 MVA transformation capacity. A bit technical, but these guys will break it down for you guys. They privately own more energy infrastructure. These are Adani Energy, from my own investigation. They privately own more energy infrastructure than Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania combined, as we speak. In distribution, Adani serves over 13 million consumer meters in metropolitan Mumbai, that is in India, and the industrial hub of Mundra SEZ. Now, in Kenya, this is now most relevant again. Their current project proposal covers the following. And the PS actually alluded to this earlier. One, approximately 222-kilometer KV, okay? Gilgil, Dhaka, Mala, Konza transmission line and associated substations. Two 400/220/132 kV substations at Rongai and approximately 99-kilometer 220 kV Rongai Keringet Chemosit transmission line and associated substations. Three approximately 98-kilometer 132 kV Menengai Olkalau Rumuruti transmission line and associated 132/33 kV Turudiboro substation. For those who may not know, Turudiboro is somewhere in Nyakachi, in Kisumu County. Not very far from the Sondu Kenyan station. Now, the above projects are critical towards ensuring grid stability and adequacy through the 400 kV backbone, in addition to reinforcement of existing aged systems for improved efficiencies with regard to power transmission and evacuation of renewable energy-based power. The projects are required to be complete between 2026 and 2027 as per the K24 master plan and the last coast power development plan. These two plans have taken into consideration the projected increment in demand, effective demand for power, okay, in our growing economy. So if we don't move in tandem with the growing demand for power, we shall be caught flat-footed as a country. And that is something we cannot afford. It would be reckless to allow ourselves to be caught flat-footed. So as a country, we must take the appropriate...
Nama waziri wa Kayo pia Wandai akitoa tu semi zake tofauti. Kumbuka yupo katika kikao kinachohusisha Wizara ya Kawi na kampuni ya uzalishaji wa umeme hapa nchini maarufu kama K24, wanaopokea maoni tofauti kutoka kwa wadau mbalimbali na pia umma kwa ujumla kuhusiana na shughuli nzima ya uzalishaji umeme hapa nchini. Na nimekujuza manake ameibua tu kauli tofauti. Baadhi ya kampuni zilizofika kuwasilisha mapendekezo yao ni pamoja na kampuni ya Adani, kampuni ya Africa 50 na kampuni ya EDF kutoka Ufaransa. Na kwa sasa wacha tutupie jicho yaliyomo madukani. Mapumziko ni mafupi, lakini tukirejea tutakuwa tunakujuza zaidi hasa kufika kuhusiana tu na yanayochipuka katika kaunti mbalimbali. Usende mbali.
bad breakfast experiences? I get it. Morning Vibe is here to switch it up. An experiential and interactive show